your way into the championship, you will race your way to Las Vegas. The folks at Summit really do it upright. So here's the situation at Top Fuel. 18 cars are here. 16 cars get to come back tomorrow. The two that are cackling down there on the starting line are one of each. Man, that thing does hard burnout. Joe Morrison. The racers to the rescue. Leverage car. Now, Joe Morrison is the bump spot at 419. Artie Allen, the speed shop owner out of Florida, is the number 18 car. So if he does not step up here, he will not be invited back to race tomorrow. Now, they got Aaron Brooks working on that car, and he is certainly a guy that knows how to get this stuff done. It's just a matter of putting it all together. And with the bump spot being a 419, really all you got to do is go to the stripe. Joe Morrison knows that as well. If that leverage-owned car on the left side doesn't step up, he is most likely going to be bumped out. Now, if they both make a 3-second anything run, the guy who'll be bumped out is Doug Coletta. Really, because right now he sits in the number 15 spot. But let's worry about that when it happens. Artie Allen in lane number 2 is trying to get in. Joe Morrison in lane number 1 is trying to stay in. It's as simple as that. If they both run into 3s, that changes the whole complexion of this thing. Actually, if they both run into 4-0s. Okay, if they both run 410. That'll do it. 411. 296 miles an hour, Joe Morrison. 397. Artie Allen at 299. Now, here's the deal. You want the good news? You want the bad news? Artie Allen just got in, number 14. Joe Morrison just got back in, number 15. But that's not exactly safely locked in the field. At this point, start biting your nails and figure out if you're going to be able to hang in there. Doug Coletta just got bumped out. Luigi Novelli, who is up next, is now the bump spot at 4.13 seconds. And the National Machine Repair Team is going to try to get their way back into this thing. Well, let's take another look. So with a 419 bump, it's just get this baby to the finish line. That's the key. And both teams were able to do it. You see some raw fuel coming out of a pipe for Artie, but he ain't giving up at this point. Gets her down to the stripe, and the front wing looks a little wacky over there on the leverage machine, doesn't it? Or maybe it's just a camera angle, but it's smoothed out down there now. They both did what they needed to do. Artie stepped up and got in. Joe Morrison stepped up to give himself a chance. We'll find out here in a couple of minutes whether that chance is going to pay off. And they have just told Luigi Novelli, let's fire that thing up. So Luigi knows if he does not improve, then Doug Coletta most likely will knock him out of the field. And it has nothing to do with it being Luigi Novelli. Anybody who was number 16, if Doug Coletta is not qualified, doesn't feel very comfortable or very confident. In order for Luigi to be comfortably in the field, well, if he outruns Artie Allen, I like his chances. Better than 397. Okay, Buddy Hull, the other car, is not going to make this session. So if Luigi outruns Joe Morrison at 4.115, he'll be locked in the field. And if Luigi does not outrun Joe Morrison, then Joe Morrison is locked in the field. Either way, Doug Kalitta right now is outside looking to fight his way in. So all eyes on the National Machine Repair Team. Can Luigi step up and lock himself in? Or will he have to sweat out the Doug Kalitta run? You heard it go silent. 4:55 coasting across the finish line. So what that means, Joe Morrison will race tomorrow. He cannot be bumped out of the field. Luigi Novelli has got to dodge a bullet, and it is a great big bullet that says Mac Tools on the side of it. And it'll be up next. Brittany Force, number 1. Steve Torrence, number 2. But the real drama playing out right now is between the guy who just ran in lane number 1 and the guy who's about to run in lane number 4. They line up the quad with Clay Millican, the Parts Plus. Stringer Machine, lane number 1. Leah Pruitt, lane number 2. Got the Mopar dress on this week. The M&M logo's on the side. Of course, Pennzoil, Okuma, lane number 3. Why not drag racing? That's your home team, A&A Facility Solutions. And Doug Foley, and in lane number 4, Doug Kalitta, who is not yet qualified. Kind of a shorty little burnout. The pressure is certainly on the guys over there in the Mac Tools shirt. But if you're in a big-time pressure situation with a top fuel car and you're on Team Kalitta, you're still feeling confident, I guarantee you. There's 3 really good race cars on the starting line out there that right now nobody's paying any attention to. And if you're Doug Kalitta, you get in a situation like this and like anything, right? I mean, a hiccup, a wisp of tire smoke, anything. You've got to fight that thing to the stripe. All you got to do is run better than 4.13 seconds, and you'll at least have a chance. Doug Kalitta will race. 383, 317 miles an hour, 378 for Doug Foley. How about Foley in a nice run out there? Clay Millican goes 381 at 308. Leah was out of the gas early with a 598 run. But she will stand on her brilliant run from yesterday in the Mopar car. Sits number 3. Doug Kalitta up to the number 11 spot. But right now, any number lower than 16 is good enough. It'll get him in the field. Joe Morrison on the bump and cannot be bumped out. And it's heartbreak for Luigi Novelli and his team down from Illinois, trying to be part of the 4 wides, and the last car that did bump him out of the show. While they're taking a look out on the racetrack, I've got my Pro Stock motorcycle ladders I can share with you hardcore fans out there. Something to look forward to tomorrow. One of the quads, Scotty Polachek, Jimmy Underdahl, Angie Smith, and Karen Stouffer. That'll be the boys against the girls. One of the quads, Little Hector, Hector Arana Jr. Good to see those guys back, and man, are they running good. Flying Ryan Ayler. Joey Gladstone, newest member of the club, and Angel. So it'll be Hector, Ryan, Joey, Angel in one quad. Steve Johnson, Kelly Klontz, Andrew Hines, and Chip Ellis will all line up 4 wide. And round number 1 tomorrow, Matt Smith, Corey Reed, Eddie Krawick, and Jerry Savoie. I'm not sure exactly what the weather's going to be when the motorcycles hit the racetrack tomorrow, but that's 2 pretty fast bikes in that quad. And I think everybody just keeps waiting to see. Jerry's going to snap out of this one of these days. I promise you. He is. And Corey Reed, you know what kind of power he's got because his teammate just got in the 200-mile-an-hour club. So anyway, that's the way they're going to latch up tomorrow, and that should be fun. Top End called down and said, we got a little cleanup to do down here. So the Safety Safari being pressed into service. It looks like most of it is way down the racetrack, so I don't think it'll take too long to get this cleaned up. But we'll get this baby squared away. I know a lot of you fans have been back in the pits watching the teams in between rounds as they have been preparing their machines. Part of the ritual is to fire them up, check things out, make sure everything's good to go. We sent our NHRA on Fox folks back to check in with Steve Torrence, and he walked you through just exactly what it's like when you do a Top Fuel warm-up. Check it out.
Ever wonder what happens during a Top Fuel warm-up session? Well, we've got the champ, Steve Torrence, to break it down for us.
We've already fired the car on gasoline, so now we're going to get the car running on gas, go to the high side. You've seen Bobby Lagana just reach over and pull both fuel pumps on, get the car started. At this point, they're adjusting the fuel pumps, trimming the pressure. I don't have a dash inside of my car. Some of the drivers do. I've got my foot on the clutch, my hand on the brake. Gary Pritchett is there with the timing light, and he's going to check the timing phase on both of the mags. You'll see him check that, switch the wires, and then he'll write that timing phase on the valve cover. And at that point, here in just a second, you'll see him reach up, give me a thumbs up, and that let me know that everything is good. And that's at that point in time, I'll take my foot off the clutch, hand off the brake, let the tires start rolling, stop the tires, put the car in reverse, check to make sure all the linkages and everything work well, and then get the car going back into the forward gear and heating up the rear end oil. During this time, the guys are looking over the car, checking for leaks, making sure that everything's okay and everything's good. We let the car get a little bit of heat in the engine. Bobby Lagana reaches up, gives me the signal to stop the car. That gives him time to set the barrel valve, check the fuel pressure and the idle and everything. He'll reach in the car, show me number 2. That means go to the high side. I pump the brake, step off the clutch, just as if we were at the starting line getting ready to stage the car for the final stage. The next motion he gives me is to go ahead and push the throttle down. That activates all the timers and flows on the clutch so that we get a realistic play through the race pack to see if all of the bearing and everything moves the way that we want it to, and we're able to check the run before we go up there and execute it on the racetrack.
And there you have it. That's what's going on when they're back there warming up the nitro cars. Hey, I want to give everybody a opportunity. If there's anybody out there, you got a question, you got a comment, you got something, whether it's 2 wide, 4 wide, or NHRA in general, and you don't have anybody to share it with, if you'd like to send it to me, feel free. If you use the email address announcer@nhra.com, that will come to me. As I said, if you got a question, you got a comment, something about the racetrack or the 4 wide or procedures, or hey, why do they do this, or what happened, or what was I watching, and you want to shoot it to me, feel free. Now, a couple of things. I'm not soliciting shout-outs. If it's your birthday or if it's your anniversary, I'm glad you're out here to spend it with us. But I'm not in the shout-out business, and I won't even see it until usually tomorrow morning. Usually what I do is I come in early in the morning and answer the emails from the day before, as I did this morning. I am not tech support. I'm certainly not the complaint department. But, say, if you watch someone down there and go, hey, why are they doing, what am I seeing, or what's the procedure here? And you'd like to send it to me, send it to me. Announcer@nhra.com, and I'll find you an answer. Looks like the Safety Safari making short work of the cleanup at the top end of the racetrack. We got Josh Hart, Steve Torrence, Billy Torrence, and Sean Langdon. Just waiting for the signal to fire up. Josh Hart, the Gainesville champ. Steve Torrence, the 3-time Camping World champ. Billy Torrence, Captain Capco, the gigantic contracting company based down there in Kilgore, Texas. And Sean Langdon, driving the DHL Coletta Motorsports machine all the way over there in lane number 4. And there's the signal. Bark 'em to life. Josh Hart, the TechNet folks, helping out with his operation. Ron Douglas, the crew chief down there, which tuned him to his first win and his first ever start. I believe that's happened well, not very often. Let me tell you, the late Darrell Russell was the last one to do it. Before that, it was Gary Selden. Josh at that point had an opportunity to retire undefeated from Top Fuel Racing, but he figured, hey, if it's this easy, why don't I just go do it again? And then he went to Atlanta and welcome back to reality. But that's a pretty good race car he's got underneath him. Steve Torrence, that's a pretty good race car he's had for the last 5 years. 3 consecutive championships. The year before he won his first one, he finished the number 2 spot. The Team Capco has been basically setting the standard for the rest of the Top Fuel field for the last 4 or 5 years. Billy started out as a part-time racer and then decided, his kid was having so much fun, he wanted to do it on a full-time basis as well. Finished number 3 in last year's championship chase. And for Sean Langdon, the DHL Toyota Mobile One team. The story's been told and retold. But that man holds a place in NHRA history, and he is a member of a club that only has one member. Won a championship in the Junior Drag Racing League. Stepped up to the Lucas Oil Series. Won 2 championships. Stepped up to Top Fuel and won a championship there as well. Nobody else can claim that. All 4 pre-stage, blink, 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 and blink, blink, blink. Pretty good looking runs from my angle. We've got a 374, we got a 375, we got a 376, and a 383. 374, 326 for Steve, 375, 327 for Josh, 376, 326 for Billy, and Sean Langdon goes 383 at 317. Good, solid quad run out there. Not going to be a whole lot of shuffling going on. But Steve Torrence was already in with a 368. Josh Hart, 4. Billy Torrence, 5. Joe Costello on the starting line.
Here with Bobby Lagana. Bobby going down in this final qualifying session. What is it going to take to win this race this weekend?
Oh, we're just happy to be here and watch Chris Carmasinis and his granddaughter make a spectacular lap. And Luigi Novelli didn't qualify, but he's in a good direction. And it's all them little guys that keep this sport going. And, I'm just humbled to watch them make a good lap. And when you got a guy like the Greek Shed
Wait a second. You won 5 of the last 6. What's it going to take to win 6 of 7?
I just want to see everybody smile.
There he is. Very political, but we love you anyway.
Joe's reference to 5 of the last 6 is 4 wide races. Steve Torrence, the last 6 times we went racing 4 wide, the trophy went back to Kilgore. As they all headed back to work, to go back to work, or headed back to Kilgore to go back to work on Monday morning. For whatever reason, Steve and that team seems to have a knack for these tracks. You did hear Bobby Lagana talking about all of the other teams, the smaller and independent teams. And the Lagana brothers and the Torrence family helps a number of them. And when his concern and his talk is genuine. They want to see those teams do well. They want to have more cars, more participation out here. And I can guarantee you that, anybody in the pits that puts their hand up and says, I need help, the Lagana brothers will be the first ones to run over there and offer whatever they can. Unfortunately, I see scrubbers rolling out there on the racetrack, so we apparently have got a little bit of cleanup out there before we've got our final 4 Top Fuel cars ready to go. Let's go once more time down to the starting line, check in with Joe.
That's right, Alan Reinhart. The aforementioned Krista Baldwin, the Greekette, the granddaughter of Chris Karamasinis, ran a career best this weekend. I'm with her on the starting line. Krista, you've qualified, career best. You've been dreaming about this moment your whole life. How does it feel?
Dreaming about it a long time, but to actually do it, to have my friends and family here to do it with Grandpa Greek, surreal. Absolutely surreal.
And that's what they say about goals. You set a goal, you accomplish the goal, you set another goal. What is your next goal?
Man, the next goal is just go out there tomorrow morning and have a nice, safe pass, and hopefully we can do another 3-second run.
Well, that sounds great. I can tell you I was with your grandfather when it happened. He was super happy, but he was already thinking about the next race. And so are we. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Antron Brown, Brittany Force, Justin Ashley, and Mike Salinas will be the final 4 top fuel cars. And then we will set the ladder and set the matchups for tomorrow. Funny car at the ready line right behind him. Hey, just to let you fans know, once we're through with Nitro qualifying, we are not through by a long shot with on-track activity. If you want to hang out and watch some great racing, we are going to have round number 1 of the Alcohol Dragsters and Alcohol Funny Cars racing for real 4 at a time, where you've got to advance if you want to come back and run on Sunday. We've got a couple of jet cars we're going to put on a show. We've got another round of comp and top sportsman and some of our other Lucas Oil categories as well. So we're going to have some stuff on the track for, probably another hour and a half maybe after the last Nitro cars go down. And we'd love to have you hang out and watch that action. If you are going to head out, please remember, tomorrow, Racers for Christ will have their non-denominational chapel service, as we do at each and every event. They actually have 2 services, one at 9 and one at 10. It'll be at the Pavilion, which is adjacent to the pro staging lanes, where you walk in the pro side of it. You guys all know where the little pavilion is over there, and you can swing by. It's non-denominational. Everybody is welcome. If you're going to miss your normal Sunday worship service,